Hi, and
Hi,
welcome to
welcome where
another
I steal the
episode.
intro from Eduardo
Okay.
in 5D.
I saw him getting ready for it too. He totally moved when you weren't looking to get ready.
No, I thought I saw him move, but I was like, the big guy's just shifting this chair like he always does.
Oh, it was great.
To be fair, I stole one from Bonsai, and now I've stolen
Yeah.
one from you.
He did. It's all just even now.
Yes, because look at how distraught I am about not doing an intro.
Guys, he's gonna hurt himself later. Can we get some sort of
I am gonna
Of
bait
watch-
so hard it will hurt.
yeah, it's gonna chafe.
Just chafing and
But that's
He's
just not a
gonna do it
natural
so
day for
hard.
you.
He's gonna do it so hard he's probably not gonna be able to do it tomorrow.
oh, I don't know about that. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Your stamina. Then what's happening here?
I feel like it hurts so good regardless. Let's just
If
put
you
that
put
out
a
there.
blister on it, I don't know.
Then just
I've
get some
never-
aloe, motherfucker.
On it, but I feel like if I did, I probably just wouldn't.
I'm just saying, use some aloe.
Good lord.
Talking
You might
motherfucker
have a
with the skin
problem.
on.
Have you talked to like a guy with a notepad about this? Not like a psychologist, just really any guy.
I was about to say, yeah, I did, but he kept trying to get away.
Excuse me, sir. You mind jotting something down for me?
Yeah, I see you have a notepad there, sir. I have thoughts and feelings.
This is the reality I choose to live in.
Oh man, you just like the idea of me naked right there, just
Well,
chasing
no,
a dude
that
with
just
a
also
notepad.
might be a really good fun prank to do to people, right? They're just like standing, like waiting for the bus with their notepad. You're just like, so this one time I was just like a kid, and just start going into your life story.
No. But you have to bring
why
your
are you
own
writing
couch
this down?
with you. You have to bring your own couch with you.
No, dude, you just lay on the bench.
No. Get like a little
Inflatable couch,
fold out lay down couch kind of thing with
like a
one arm.
lawn chair or something. Yeah,
It's like a pop fold out one.
yeah.
It exists.
Bring your own fucking couch and just be like, so you want to know how it makes me feel? All right, welcome to another episode.
Kid.
We got Klops, the interrupting bitch, above me, and we got Bonsai, the interrupting. Well, he's just a bitch. He didn't interrupt. And I am Ark, and here we are for another go around. And we're a little conflicted on this first thing we wanted to bring up because I know I've personally played games from this developer quite a bit, but Insomniac Games, they got acquired.
Yeah.
Who bought them? Tell us who bought them, Bonsai. Tell us.
I mean, it makes sense who bought them. Sony just acquired Insomniac Games.
And like,
Could be worse.
did
Could
they say
be
how
Activision.
for how much?
I'm sure somebody did, but I didn't see.
Okay, so I looked into this a little bit, at least into the history of Insomniac, and I thought they were already a kind of PlayStation studio, like 343 is a Microsoft studio. But it looks like up until about 2012, they were mostly doing, PlayStation games,
Yeah.
and then they went and then they
Call those
started.
exclusives in the industry.
They had quite a bit of exclusives. I mean, like for me, I did play one of the Jak and Daxters. I played all of the Ratchet and Clanks.
Yeah, I played the
So that was them. And then in 2012 they started doing Microsoft games and actually started branching out and doing mobile games too. Did a couple iOS games that I'd never heard about when I looked at it. I'm sure they were like, we need money to make the games we really want to make.
Yeah.
Let's make an iOS games. But yeah, I don't know how I feel. It makes sense, but after the last revival of Ratchet and Clank didn't do as hot. Maybe they were already on the chopping block, but Spider-Man sold like fucking like
Yeah.
hotcakes.
No, Spider-Man killed it.
And it was a good game. I mean, we all had a few little gripes. Klops, did you end up playing Spider-Man?
Not really.
It was. Did you ever play the classic Spider-Man PC game?
PC game. I don't think I played that one, but I know what the game's about. I bought it.
No. It's not about what it's about. It's the gameplay. So that game itself also had a lot of web swinging.
Yeah, I've seen all the gameplay. I watched my girlfriend play it or stuff like that. Like,
But yeah, so it was a good game. I had a lot of fun. I think I made it a point to get all of the collectibles before I did any of the main story. And then
Same.
I did the main story, and there were more collectibles, and I just kind of got
Same.
annoyed.
I
But-
did end up 100%ing it, but or
Oh.
100% storyline. I didn't do like all the achievements.
Yeah, I was about to say you're gonna do because that's what 100% means.
Well, I did. I got all the collectibles. I did all the missions and side missions.
What about the challenge levels?
I didn't get gold in all the challenge levels, but I've done my best on all the challenge levels.
Yay! Participation.
And I haven't done the DLC. I did one of the DLCs and was really disappointed, and then I didn't come back for the other two. But I own them, so I'm going to play them eventually. Just
Yeah, I'll get
I'm
to
still
it.
too hurt. I'm still too hurt.
All right. Do they have anything great coming up?
I don't know what their
Insomniac?
upcoming slate is, but I'm gonna guess it's a Sony exclusive from here on out.
Isn't Insomniac also the one that did like Last of Us?
Let's see here.
I hope not, because I didn't like Last of Us.
So
I
they did.
Didn't like it.
Apparently they did Spyro the Dragon.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So okay, so they did Edge of Nowhere. They did Sunset Overdrive.
Oh, that was really disappointing. I really wanted to
Yeah.
like Sunset Overdrive, and man, it just didn't come together how you really
Oh,
wanted.
they did Resistance as well, and that was kind of a disappointment.
Fall of
as
Man?
well. Yeah.
Yeah, that was disappointing.
So it looks like they've done quite a few things that I've played. I didn't know that there were Spyro. Dude, huge on Spyro for me. I was never
Have you
able to.
played the remaster. We have it. We haven't played it yet.
No, I'm waiting for it to come out on Switch.
That's fair.
Yeah, because it's a super dope game just to play on your couch, right? While you're watching or doing other stuff. So
Yeah,
I'm waiting
it's just
for
a
it to come out there.
collectathon / sort of puzzle solver ish.
Yeah, it's a puzzle. It's a puzzle platformy thing. I'm really hoping they do more Ratchet and Clank, but that's because I've been a huge fan. Even the arena one was still pretty good. I generally don't like. I think that was Deadlocked. I generally don't like those kinds of games. I felt like it could have been a module for one of the other ones or like a DLC for one of the other ones, but it had some story. It was pretty fun.
How do you feel, Klops? Do you have any love for Insomniac? Are you sad to see him go?
Wait, did they do Last of Us? I wasn't paying attention.
Did
They
they
did,
did not.
Okay. Well, I remember playing Insomniac games back on the PS1,
Yeah.
and then I played some games on the PS2, like the original Jack and Dexter, for like an hour, and then I stopped. And then I played like the original Ratchet and Clank for like an hour, and then I stopped. So
Yeah.
no, I don't really care at this point.
Well, did you stop because you lost interest, because it was bad, because you got distracted with another game?
It just wasn't my cup of tea.
No, that's fair.
Yes. I mean, I like collectathons and stuff. Like I like Banjo Kazooie, but I don't.
I
didn't
guess
really
I'm one like
Ratchet and Clank. I didn't really like Dexter.
I own the Jack and Daxter collection. Have not played it. Really should. Really interested. Really excited.
I mean, so
Still
like
haven't
at the time, the demographic. I mean, it's like a E10 game, right? You know what I mean? Like it's like 10 and up. Like it's.
But the
it's
gameplay's fun. I don't really care about.
I'm
I
just
don't
saying,
need like
like
blood and titties to enjoy it.
I understand that I don't either, but at the same time, like I was like 14 and I needed.
Oh,
blood
so at
and
the
titties.
time you needed blood and titties. Yeah.
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 Um,
I feel like maybe you should try some of the Ratchet and Clank games again. Like they actually, well, all except for the first one. The first
Yeah,
one's
that one's rough.
rough, but the other ones all hold up.
Yeah.
I played
I,
the Daxter game for PSP, and that was
Yeah.
okay. It was okay.
so the one thing that kept me coming back for the Ratchet and Clank games was the writing. I thought it was hilarious. They were pretty funny. But Jack and Dexter just never had that for me. Like I didn't like the interaction with the two main characters because I played one of them for a little while and I was like, I'm bored now.
I mean, that's kind of what I did
Rip
too.
all their
Like,
skin off.
I don't know, the writing was okay, and like Ratchet and Clank, I thought it was kind of funny, but I don't know, it just didn't hit for me.
Do
Yeah,
you
it's
like
not-
platformers?
I don't mind platformers. I do enjoy them. It just
So with them owning the license to make Spider-Man games, though, I wonder what else they have. What else could spin out of that? Because
Well-
that game was a fucking blast, and I'd be really interested in some more of that kind of entry from them.
So I'm curious to see if they even really own that. They might have just owned that one to
Sure,
make
right.
that game.
Right. Now, like, that's kind of what I'm curious about, though. And since they did so well with that, can they do another entry less on the Ratchet and Clank side, more on the Spider-Man side? Maybe something original or just something
Yeah.
different. I don't know. Maybe DC taps them. Like, there was actually talk of a Flash game around when the Arkham games were coming out that fell apart. But I don't know, like something like an
Oh.
Aquaman game would be dope. A Wonder Woman game would probably be dope.
I
long as they
was
didn't
about to say, said
play it-
nobody ever.
I'd fucking play it. I don't know. Like, I'm not a huge.
I'm not
Wonder
talking.
Woman fan
I'm
or
not.
anything.
No, not Wonder Woman. Aquaman.
Oh, actually, he had a game and it was really bad. It was a
Yeah,
lot of just
that's
swimming
unfortunate.
around poorly.
So
But like a well-made Aquaman game, I don't know. It could be fun. I don't
So-
know.
okay, let me tell you a story real quick because it's relevant. So when we were in the Robot Chicken panel, a guy came up and actually asked them like, "Hey, why do you guys always make fun of Aquaman?" And like this dude was like one of those nerds who's super serious, so he must have been into
Hard
Aquaman, right?
Aquaman fan,
Yeah. And then
He had his
I-
Aquaman underoos on at that moment.
the funny part, the guy comes up and he goes, "Okay, so tell me, what is cool about Aquaman, except for this last movie? Before that, what was cool about Aquaman?" And the guy up there was like, exactly. Sit down." So he couldn't even defend his own position, but I just thought it was funny. And I actually went back and saw all the Aquaman skits from Robot Chicken, and I was just like, "Oh yeah, dude, they totally shit all over this character."
They do. I actually am an Aquaman fan though. Before the movie, Aquaman's
I-
fine.
I knew nothing about it.
He's cool when you're in the water. Hey, there was like, well, what does he do when he's out of the water? Why the fuck does he get out of the water? He's the goddamn king of the ocean. Fuck you. He doesn't need to get out of the water. They're like, oh, spacemen are really cool when they're in space. Yeah, they're fucking spacemen.
Yeah, what do they do outside of space? What do they do on planet side?
Oh, they just hang
Um,
around.
I don't know.
know.
I've played No Man's Sky.
Yeah, it's a lot of you building a house to just hang around and do people.
No,
shit.
you also
No,
kill animals.
The whole goal of No Man's Sky is to build yourself up to the point where you don't have to do all that stuff in No Man's Sky anymore. It's a lot like life. The whole reason we made tools was because we were like, you know what's hard to do is everything. Let's build shit to make everything easier. And then we just kept doing that.
Well, before the revamp, the point of No Man's Sky was to get to the center of the galaxy for some goddamn
And
reason.
then restart the game.
Yeah, I was very mad at them for that. I have since then forgiven them, but I hear the new content pack is pretty good.
No, I hear they deserve like a most improved sticker.
Yeah. the thing you give that little kid who eats paste in the corner once he stops eating paste.
Though they're not like the first one. I honestly feel the same way about Diablo 3. Diablo 3 kind of sucked when it came. Like the storyline was cool, but you kind of played it once, then it was like,
Oh yeah, but they shit the
Alright.
bed royally on that one. Like I think everyone can agree, Diablo 3 at launch was just hot garbage.
yeah, it kind of sucked. Well, I wasn't in the hot garbage camp. I'm a little bit like the Green Lantern movie. I don't think it's hot garbage. It's not good, but it's not horrible.
Well, no, but
It's-
remember
It's fine.
remember launch day. They had server issues. They also had the issue where the wizard was OP as shit, so there was no point in playing any of the other ones. Like they had legitimate gripes, and then there was the fucking auction house, and don't get me started on that bullshit. But
So getting to the point of it, they fixed it.
they did eventually.
It's great now. Like that game on the Switch is so good.
It is. I have sunk so many fucking hours into
My
that.
problem is I have it for PC, and everybody that plays on PC is doing like the weird crying, like trials and shit. And I'm like, I just want to go through the storyline with people, and they're like, nope, gotta grind, gotta get on this season, gotta fucking do all this crazy shit.
Oh
And
yeah.
I'm like, okay, have fun then, bye bye.
I'll be over here if you guys need me.
I'll just go play something else because I want this to be fun multiplayer kind of gameplay. But,
No, dude, I am with you. They have turned that game into the thing I hate about fucking games of the, hey, start all fucking over. I'm like, no, I did not spend fucking hours
What about
building
all
this
that work
character
I
up.
did? Fuck that. Move
Yeah.
on, loser.
And they even try to shame you. They put a big ass label of whether your character is a seasoned character or not, and I'm like, get the fuck out of here. He's seasoned veteran. You know how many fights he's been through? I've killed Diablo like 20 times, you son of a bitch.
So if we're gonna give out most improved stickers, can I throw one out right now? So far. Let me throw out a so far it's most improved sticker. I'm not super far into it yet. I started playing Prison Architect again.
Okay.
When I first got Prison Architect, the campaign was really like, hey, build this room. Okay, now do this one thing real quick. Hey, that's a tutorial. Go build a prison. And so,
Huh.
like, the first, I don't know, hours that I played was just me figuring out how to build a basic cell that would effectively hold prisoners when it needed to hold them, but let them out when they needed to get let out, and then have other amenities, but also stop them from just leaving, like, literally having a prisoner, a cell door, and a guard was not enough.
Oh, what else?
Because nothing stopped them from opening the door, and nothing told the guard to not let
Oh,
them.
dude, that
Like-
reminds me of like Kerpal.
They've fixed so much. Like, a lot of it is automated, or there are automated buttons. Like, one of the dumb things, like having to build a room. But you didn't account for lights in the room. Now there's just a button you can click that's like, hey, also just put fucking lights in the room when I build a fucking room. Lots of just little, like, the
do
game
that
is-
for me.
and I've been playing the game. It's gonna sound like way more time than I've been playing the game for 2 hours over a couple of days, just kind of casually sitting on the couch. But I'm still in the campaign, and I've learned so much about this game from playing the actually developed campaign on it now. I think this might actually be a really fun game now that they've actually bothered to explain how it worked.
Oh, they added a tutorial. You know what? That's gonna set off all those Demon Soul guys. They're gonna be like, "Fuck you, you piece of shit."
Ugh, you didn't just learn it?
Ugh,
Ugh.
fucking scrub.
I mean, there was still a tutorial level in all those games.
Yeah, there was. Though I will say, like, a couple. What was the shitty one for PlayStation that I hate and you loved?
Bloodborne?
Bloodborne had a tutorial. I think I died in the tutorial at least twice.
You were meant to. It was putting you in your place.
Yeah.
That game sucked.
I love
Well, actually, no. I have one big problem. I've talked about it on the podcast. I'm not going to go too far into it. My one big problem was just how far off save points were, and the fact that they would cut you off from a save point at certain times. You know what I mean? So it's like you couldn't go do a thing and come back. It was, no, fuck you. You're going to do this all in one shot perfectly. And if you fuck up, go replay this hour and a half of gameplay between save points again. Because fuck you and no other reason than fuck you.
See, that's not true. That's just what you were doing. So like there's a ton of different little shortcuts throughout the like city.
When
That
you
loop you
pass
back
through a
around.
save point and a fucking gate lifts and there's one path down a road, no, there's no shortcut, Klops.
Yes, there is, because down that road to the right hand side, over to the left, and then up a building, then down a building, then across the
You have to
rooftop.
get that
comes
far,
back
and to get
around.
That far takes an hour and a half. That's
It
the
does
problem.
not take you an hour and a half. It takes you an hour and a half.
That's what he said. Wait.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying, though. The problem is,
You.
it's
I'm
it's
talking about Bonsai. It takes Bonsai an hour and a half.
It's
Oh.
not taking anybody 5 minutes to get through it. That's the difference between when people call Cuphead quote unquote punishing and when people call Dark Souls punishing. Cuphead is punishing, but no chunk of that game takes more than 5 minutes. You're never replaying more than 5 minutes of gameplay. There are several parts in Bloodborne. Klops, you are full of shit if you're telling me it's
No.
just a 5-minute trek through that. You can just walk right through it. It's no problem. You just do this, easy. You can nail it every time you try it, and it's 5 minutes.
I can.
Bullshit.
Can.
Bullshit. Then go do a
Can.
fucking live stream and time it. You hit. I will tell you the point I hit while you're fucking playing. I will sit here all night with you and watch it. When you hit that point, if you can't complete it in 5 minutes, I'm going to come up with something fucking horrid for you to do because you're full of
Uh-huh.
physically walking from that point would take more than 5 minutes with no enemies. The point I'm talking about, you cannot do it in 5 minutes. It's not physically possible. It would take you longer than that to walk between the 2 points.
Get good scrub.
You're full of shit.
It's a good scrabble.
You're another one of these elitist Dark Souls like, yeah, the game's not even that hard. It's just timing. It's just a matter of timing. You just gotta time it out. I can beat that whole game. Yeah, I fucking hold the world record. No, you're full of shit.
No. I don't hold the world record. It's not me.
You're full of shit.
I have had tons of times where I've gotten my ass kicked by enemies. I'm just saying that he likes to give up, and you're like, fuck this game.
Give
You
up
know,
3
it's
days
like-
of 3 days of playing the exact same hour-long chunk. That's not just giving up. That's me admittedly not being great at it, but also it just being a kind of level design that I'm never going to get into. It's like a versus game. I suck at Street Fighter. I'm never going to be good at it, and I don't like it. You're memorizing cheat codes. You can't convince me that Street Fighter is not just well-timed cheat code memorization. That's what that game is.
I don't think it's even well timed. A lot of it has delay.
You can learn the delays, you can learn the timings. It's well-timed cheat code. Dark Souls, it's another timing-based game, which is probably why I'm not great at it. I'm not a big timing-based guy, but with Cuphead's timing-based, but I beat the fuck out of Cuphead, and I loved every second of it because when you lose, you can execute on the part you failed on almost right away. In a game like Dark Souls and Bloodborne, sure, you know, it's steps 1, 2, and 3 to get between the points, but 1 is really hard, and then learning the fine-tuning of 1, and then getting to 2 only to die again, to then master 1, to then try to barely get the hang of 2, and then you're still not even at 3, and it's taking time, and one slight fuck-up sets you all the way back. It's not a quick learning curve. It is a very, very slow, tedious learning curve. And I don't think you can blame people for not enjoying that kind of gameplay.
I'm not blaming anybody for not enjoying that kind of gameplay. I'm just saying that what you're talking about sounds like Dark Souls to me because it was very much that kind of level design. You go from one bonfire to the next, and it routes you into the other levels. For Bloodborne, it wasn't that. The level design was not the same as it was in Dark Souls.
It's not the whole game, and I did utilize going back a lot, but there are chunks where they go, "That's not an option here, Chief."
No, but that's the thing is that was what I thought too until I started playing with another friend that knew the shortcuts and started showing me all these different ways and way to see the level design that was different in Bloodborne than it was in Dark Souls because
that sucks too. Don't shoehorn me into multiplayer. If your game that's supposed to be single player and Bloodborne is not advertised as multiplayer,
you do not have to do multiplayer at all.
You just have to figure it out. I think is what he's saying.
Yeah, you would have to figure it out on your own instead of having a friend help you.
I still own it. There's a chance I'll replay it, but no,
you don't have to do multiplayer at all. That is your choice. I wasn't playing with randos. I was playing with people that I knew.
That's even
okay.
Yeah.
No,
also, I just want to point out that I just chose not to buy it and not to fucking play it because I wasn't interested at all.
I did not buy it. My wife was working at PlayStation and got saw it on a table for $2 or $3 when it came out and was like, fuck it. Even if he hates it, it's worth $2.
In other words, she stole it.
$2 of enjoyment out of it.
Yeah.
I have several. There's even a couple games downstairs that are online only play, and I'm like, oh babe, I can't play this. She's like, nah, it was $5. I don't care.
Wait, is it any of the Final Fantasies?
No. I have one called Paragon, and I have one called shit. I'd have to go downstairs and look, but there's one game you can play 3 levels before it goes, okay, now you really need to get online and play this game. It tells you, and then there's another one that's unless you're getting into a room with players of this game, there's no game to play. One of them's a MOBA, and one of them's a twin stick. What was the one that TK loved? TK's in there. It's the one he loved playing. It's the long format, old school Diablo View space game. You kind of had to roll in groups, and there were lots of mini objectives you had to do before.
Oh wait, are you talking about Red Solstice?
Red Solstice. It's a little Red Solstice-y.
I like that game.
And so after level 3, it's hey, if you don't have other players in this, you're really not going to beat this level. And the game warns you, this is really meant to be played with people. So I have these couple random games she just picked up because she's like, yeah, space sci-fi, you'll love this. And I was like, I would, but can't. Even if I wanted to, there's one guy playing this game.
So Red Solstice was great, except we could never get past any of the fucking levels.
Apparently TK did. TK's good at Red Solstice. For anybody who's
I've heard
wondering who TK is one of our regular chat attendees, and you too can join the chat Mondays at 7, the 5D podcast. Anyways, we've ranted about this long enough. What's the thing
He
we were
says
actually
we.
talk about? Klops was on it too. Fuck you, just because you're a piece.
Klops was trolling the fuck out of you. All right, Rocco's Modern Life.
Doesn't mean he wasn't part of
Jumping
it.
around.
To be fair,
Rocco's
half of
Modern
this
Life.
show is me getting pissed off about things. It's
Yes.
not like it's a high bar.
Rocco's Modern Life. This is what we're doing.
Rocco's Modern. Do you have a graphic on? There's a
I
delay.
do.
Rocco's Modern Life. 40-minute movie, done, original cast and crew. Klops, go first. I can't. Klops, go first. What is it? What do you think? Okay.
So basically, it's Rocco. It takes place after the finale of the show where they got launched into space, and now they're back on Earth, and it's taken in modern day. So it's like,
And it's
supposed
like
to be
a
modern day
half
tropes.
Because at the end of that episode, they came back to Earth. It was just the future. So it's like a half reboot. They reboot half of the ending.
Well, I don't know if they really did. They come back in the show?
Yeah.
I thought they just got launched into space.
Now they get launched into space, and then they do like a flash forward, and he lands, and it's all spacey.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So like basically the premise is that they come back and like so much has changed that Rocco kind of has like a midlife crisis.
Yeah.
And he just wants his favorite show back, which is the Fatheads, which has been canceled. And so like there's this kind of thing like he's like it's his quest to go off and try to like get them to re-air or to make new Fathead shows.
That's essentially the whole plot. Is just Rocco's kind of shell shocked about coming back to the future, and he wants his show back.
Yeah, while the other two have
Plot in
taken
a
to the
nutshell.
future and they actually like are enjoying themselves and everything, where Rocco is kind of having a bad time. And I get that, but it also seems like so like throughout his kind of quest, it gets to a point where like it wasn't what he wanted, and so like he gets really angry, and that felt kind of jarring and a little too much.
Okay.
But all in all, the animation was good. It felt like the Rocco's Modern Life. It had all the characters I remember, and like if you remember Rocco's Modern Life, even barely, it's gonna come to that. You're gonna like go, oh, okay, yeah, I can get into this, right? And if you've never watched Rocco's Modern Life, you don't have to. It doesn't really require that much previous knowledge or anything.
Some of the stuff will seem really out of place, and what you just have to tell yourself is like, this is a reference to the show, and it's very like I think they have to have referenced just about every fucking episode of. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, there's one thing I'm kind of surprised they didn't reference. The big rhino chick, he jumps into her boobs and she goes, "How dare you?" and hits him. That's probably the only
Yeah.
major thing they did not reference.
Yeah.
Other than that, like even the hooray spiders from
Yeah.
the one TV episode get their reference. The foot guy gets his reference. Like there is tons of deep cut one scene references.
So a lot of fan service is what it sounds like.
Almost to
Yeah.
a detriment, if I'm being honest. In a
Mm.
40-minute show to work in that much fan service, I feel like you could have developed your plot a little bit more.
At the same time, though, this was originally like a 30-minute show, and then like it was only stretched to 40, so it's only 10 minutes difference. And the whole premise of the show is basically how it's changed.
Yeah.
It's like it's almost like metaing itself.
It was very, like, from the early on, it was very meta about it.
So I mean, I don't know. I thought it worked. It had enough plot. It didn't really need to be too weighed down with plot.
So here's the part of the plot I'm talking about. There's already a big controversy about this, and for the record, this is not me jumping on the bandwagon of the controversy. And I will say this too. Klops, did you call it as quickly as I did? The minute this character pulled up in their ice cream truck featured in that graphic we're showing, literally rolled down the window or whatever, and you finally see the character's face. Did you know it was up from that moment?
Yeah.
Yeah, same here. Like, I think it was just because like the way they were drawing the eyes was the only real difference. And just from that, I immediately went, oh, well, that's not what they're doing, is it? And then it was. So Ralph Bighead, known for people who know the show, made the Fatheads. They've turned Ralph Bighead transgender. Ralph is now Rachel. And
Yeah.
you could, like, literally, the minute, it's not even like they drew him suddenly, he has boobs and an afro or something. He's drawn the same, except his eyes are just a little different. And it's just enough for you to go, oh, did Ralph, like, find himself out in the desert? And yeah, Ralph found himself and became a woman. And so a big part of the plot is not just that Rocco is having a hard time coming to terms with the way things are now, so is Mr. Bighead, specifically with his kid turning trans. Here's why I don't agree with the people griping about this on the internet. Whether you're for or against people coming out as trans, you have to admit it's a modern thing that people are dealing with. The show was always about Rocco dealing with the life and times of the 90s. This is Rocco dealing with the life and times of now. That's a thing now. There's a character who, by all intents and purposes, really made sense for this. The character was always just seen as kind of never happy, never comfortable. Things were never enough. Even when things were good, it was never good enough. So they've decided to explain this as the character not being fine with his sexual identity. Again, it's not about whether you do or don't agree with it. All I'm trying to get across is, as far as writing a plot for Rocco, that's a totally legitimate episode to do. Think of it even as an episode of a show. If you brought back modern Rocco now, they would do this episode eventually, regardless of what side of the fence they fell on. It fit. My issue was, it's the thing me and Eduardo complain about a lot. It was just very ham-fisted into not just this is a problem, but this is a problem and this is where we stand on it and fuck you. It just wasn't clever, it wasn't graceful, and I guess not even that it needed to be. It's more just that it would have been, with how many references they worked in, I think you could have pulled back on some of the more obscure references and instead just kind of
Handled it better.
And not even guided it home. I think it actually wrapped up really well because they kind of wrapped it up really bluntly, which I guess punctuated how ham-fisted it was, but I would have preferred a bigger ramp up to it so that we could have this more blunted cutoff of like, but this is where we're landing, because at least that has some more comedic value. That's just it felt kind of, I don't want to say transient. I'm not really sure how to describe it. They focused on the wrong thing in my book.
See, I don't know. I didn't find it that jarring or anything. As a matter of fact, I thought it was really cool when he does say, "Oh, by the way, I'm Rachel." Right now, I'm Rachel now. Like, I've changed, and they're all like, "Cool." Like,
yeah, I
like,
did.
There was no question
other than Mr. Bighead really had a problem. They were all like,
issue, right? You know, they were just like, "All right, we're just gonna run with it."
Sense as anything. Yeah.
So,
you know?
So I never watched the original show that much. It was on Nickelodeon. We didn't have cable, and I heard about the controversy. I haven't seen the movie, but what one of the articles was talking about specifically was that a lot of the folks that are outraged are saying, "Oh, you've added all these values now into the show, and you're just trying to be, socially political now and stuff." And what the article described is that there was always kind of an allegory to that character being something. There was so they called out, and again, you've watched the show, so you can tell me whether or not this makes sense. But there was an episode where I believe the writer himself has said that he wrote it specifically for that, not for trans people, but for gay people. Where it was that same character wanted to quit his dad's corporate job, and he refused because he wasn't comfortable. He was going to go move away to LA and do some other stuff.
Yeah, that's right. The fatheads.
Yeah, and then so the writer said that he had originally pitched some ideas and they weren't accepted, and he also said that he's been trying to make this movie with that plot for a while, and nobody would pick it up. So it sounds like, at least according to this article, right? I've never interviewed the guy, but it sounds like there were themes, and that he was trying to. I mean, this was the '90s, right? So you didn't just see that in media all the time. So it just sounds like he was trying to bring those themes in of like acceptance and how trying it can be for like a homosexual character to come out, or individual to come out and stuff. So at least that's what they're saying. So when I read it, I was like, okay. I mean, he gets to do that, and all right, cool. Here you go. If the original writer always intended for something like that to be, I mean, what are you gonna do?
Well, and again,
his
it's
stuff.
not even the content. It was more just and maybe it's because it's 40 minutes. Maybe because he always thought of this as like a bigger movie kind of thing. Maybe he really wanted an hour and a half. And I think it could have been done better with more time. It's just I felt like they did too many references and not enough focus on this
plot.
character and this character's story.
Okay.
That's what it is. Back off of the references and tell this story better. That's what I want.
That's the thing is like I always remember Rocko's Modern Life being very fast paced, and this show was definitely fast paced as well. Like every time I think of like Rocko's Modern Life, and I have gone back and watched some of it, it's really fast. The story, like you got to be watching and not blinking because that story plot will just go.
This is your Netflix movie, man. Fucking Enter the Florpus is at least an hour. Think of what this could have done with an hour.
Right. I'm not saying that it shouldn't have got more time. And it could have presented it a little bit more steady, but that's not Rocko's kind of like.
That's
pacing.
not his bag, baby.
It's always been really fast. So I mean, I don't know. I don't think it was like heavy-handed and wrong. Like they could have did a better job, sure, by presenting it with more time and like more build-up. Okay, sure, but isn't that really anything in that? I mean,
honestly, there are things that have carried it out better. You know, it's not like it's never been done.
I'm just saying that I don't know. I didn't find it too much of an issue to be so fast paced and kind of heavy handed as you'd put it. I didn't really find it that jarring or heavy handed myself. It just kind of seemed like okay, and now we're moving the plot forward because this is happening because this is the point we're at, and now we're going to go and we're going to conclude, right? And there's a whole thing that happens with the conclusion. It does slow down a little bit, and then it goes, "What do we do? We're not slowing down. Fuck you."
I guess I don't know. Both me and my wife walked away like that. It just felt rushed. It felt.
Literally, the winds of change show up.
I'm saying
it's told, "Fuck you." We're already moving, and he's like, "Well, I guess we're moving."
Yeah, I don't know. It didn't work for me.
And that's okay because it doesn't have to.
Yeah. Basically. Yeah. I mean, yeah. You know, and again, I'm not saying it was bad. I'm not saying fuck this movie, don't watch it. Just I don't know. I could have done with a reversal of that. I would have rather have had less references and more time on this plot than squeeze every reference we could think of. Oh, also there's this plot. It's just not how I wanted to see it happen. That's all.
Okay. Fair enough.
I know. I just hope it opens the floodgates to be more because I wouldn't mind.
Yeah, I would love a series based on like with take this exact like everything's updated, O-Town's changed, which are big, like all the dynamics have changed. I'll take a series off of this though any day. Yep. Sounds great.
Yeah, I mean, people always love the show, and I saw a few episodes. I just never watched it regularly because I didn't.
This was one of mine and my brother's favorites. This was high up on our list.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Give it a rating.
Unfortunately, I have to go with 3 mops out of 5.
3 mops out of 5? You ordered so many, though.
I know.
All right. Okay. Fair enough. Klops, what about you?
I'll give it 4 flopper holes out of 5.
Yep. References I don't get. I'm okay with this.
Yay!
Well, Purple is the new Invader Zim one.
Yeah, I figured.
That was the joke.
He's transitioning.
Yeah, I got nothing. I see what you did there. Okay, before we get there, because our category on the YouTubes is games, Klops wants to talk about a motherfucking game.
We're gonna do it after, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, he could have talked about it after. I don't
No,
see why we have to do that now.
That's what we're doing. This is what we're doing now.
Enter the Florple is a Invader Zim series that came out on Netflix. Whatever, same thing. Basically, I'm not going to go too far into it because these guys want to watch it and then they want to do a full review next week. So we get to talk about it twice. That's why I'm doing this because it's always fun. I know it bugs Bonsai.
Yeah, it's great.
Basically, think Invader Zim and 60 Minutes and Cranked on 11 because that's how this show is. It's loud. It's Invader Zim. It has all the references, and it was really fun to watch. So
I'm shocked Jonan Vasquez came back for it. He always made it sound like working with Viacom was a nightmare, but awesome.
Did they make it?
Yeah, Jonan's in it.
Yeah, no. I'm talking about, like, did Viacom make this?
Nickelodeon's still owned by Viacom, to my knowledge.
I thought Viacom got restructured. I mean, I could be wrong, but...
The restructured and not there anymore is 2 different things.
Yeah, but
I don't know. It's probably still owned by Viacom. Bonds, I can look it up while we're going through this. Basically, if you like Invader Zim, you'll love this. If you didn't know what Invader Zim was and you're the right demographic, I hope you love it. If you're not the right demographic and have no idea who Invader Zim is, then I don't know what you're doing with your life.
Explain to us what the right demographic would be, Klops.
Still Viacom, along with BET, Warner Media, the Walt Disney Company, DirecTV, and CBS Corporate.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right demographic is either teenage emo girls or like 12-year-old boys.
That doesn't say very much about us here. Hey,
I would say those kids from honestly, I don't know if kids nowadays would be as into it.
yeah.
I don't know, with the cartoons that are out there that are really like fast paced and loud, I think this one would be right into it. Because it was definitely fast paced and loud.
Yeah, but it was dark. I don't know if, except for a few kids, they enjoy dark stuff now.
Yeah, they do. I'm pretty sure they do. Most of the shows that are out now, although have like this like really like kid friendly atmosphere, they also have like really kind of undertones to them. I mean, I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah,
I'd give it a shot. It's
I don't have much to say because I want to watch it and I haven't.
Yeah, I know. It's a lot of fun. I definitely recommend checking it out. I definitely was like really like laughing at like certain parts and everything else, and it was a lot of fun. And it really had the feel of
How the fuck did I never hear about this? The first time I heard about this was when you told me you were going to talk about it.
That's funny because I think it came out like either yesterday or the day before that. And like I was on my computer, and one of the YouTubers I watch also reviews cartoons and stuff, and like he'd put up a review of it, and like I just immediately went and just watched it. I was like,
well, yeah, because
I'm gonna go watch this and then watch the review.
I almost didn't record tonight because I was gonna go watch it. I'm a huge Invader Zim fan.
The art style has changed. It's not as sharp anymore. This is something that his name is Rebel Taxi. I don't mind if you go watch him. He's a really good YouTuber. And he is really about animation. So like it was cool to have him point out to me because I would have never really thought about it because I haven't watched Invader Zim in years, like the original ones.
Yeah.
But it used to be very sharp and kind of darker outlined, which I really enjoyed. This one is a little bit less. It's more reflecting Jonas Vasquez's kind of comics that he's been doing. So it's more of a reflection of that art now. So it's kind of progressed that way.
Okay.
But it still looks really, really clean, and it still has like the color scheme and everything from the original. So it's still there. It just looks crisper. It looks more detailed, and it's a little bit less thicker lines.
Okay, so the art style's changed a little bit, but I mean that happens, right? An artist develops his craft and changes. Sometimes slightly, sometimes quite a bit, depending on what they end up doing. But yeah, that's not bad. All right, tell us about a video game.
Okay, so the video game I've been playing kind of casually is Hellblade Sonya. I don't know how to say her name, and I've heard it like a billion times. Sacrifice. I've always heard about this game from other people. They're like, "Oh, you should play it. It has a bunch of Norse stuff in it." I'm like, "Yeah, I'll get around to it." Finally, I've been getting around to it, and I have to say, it's really awesome. But it's not like how I expected. Of course, the Norse references in it are really fun, and like really good and really detailed. But the gameplay itself, it's almost like a walking simulator, and then it has points of combat with puzzle solving occasionally in different areas. And so it's kind of interesting because it almost has this slow pace with these like you're coming up to a fight kind of thing, and sometimes they come out of nowhere. And when it comes into combat, it's actually very fluid. You have a dodge button and you have a parry or a block, depending on how you time it, and then you can attack, and you have either a heavy or a light attack. And I don't think you change weapons at all in the game, which is fine. It doesn't need to, but it almost has a kind of Dark Souls feel from the timing aspect of it. It's very much about timing. You have to open up your enemies by parrying a lot or by dodging out of the way and then attacking. The other thing about it that I know Bonsai will hate is after the tutorial part. It basically tells you that if you keep losing in combat, eventually it will delete your save.
Oh, that's right.
And you will have to start all over. And how they explain it is that she has this rot. And it starts off with the hand because you're not designed to win the first combat. Right? So you have rot on your hand. And if it gets all the way to your brain, the seat of your soul in Norse, it will consume you and basically turn you into a Drugmore or whatever, the like Norse zombie.
Yep.
And
Drogor, I believe. Is
you will have to start over.
Drogor? Yeah.
It's a Drugor.
So
Yeah.
at this point, these fucking companies are just sitting back going, what's another thing that would make any other game really shitty, but we can put in and justify it as just you being not good enough?
Look, yeah.
Think if any other game did this. Think if any other game was like, oh yeah, and if you die like 6 times in a row, we just fucking delete your game because you're worthless.
It's really hard to die in this game, though.
Okay.
There's been times where I've basically had a chance to like lose the combat, and I pick like they have a spacebar button that's like get up. It just says get up, and you hit the spacebar button and you continue in the combat. So they make it really hard for you to fucking die. Like it's not like it's like oh you fucked up, fuck you. It's gives you plenty of chances to not die and to overcome the enemy or opposition that is there. But for me, that wasn't a game breaker. For me, that it's not like fuck you. Why are you doing this to me? I was like, oh, let's go. This makes this a little bit more of a wagering fight. Then let's do this.
Yeah.
And the story is really good. Like I want to continue with the story, and that's what this whole thing is about. Basically, you have Sonya who has traveled to the land of mist or the land of the dead in Norse mythology in order to basically try to bargain with Hel or Helen for her lover's soul. And that's the whole premise of it. And throughout, you can pick up little tidbits here and there to pick and piece the stories together. She definitely is suffering from some kind of mental illness. It's most likely depression, and I've heard other people say also schizophrenia because you keep hearing voices. But I'm not sure if that's just paranoia from being in this land or actually like her own kind of mental mindset. I haven't played enough to figure that out. She definitely had depression. She definitely tried to off herself at one point, and this guy that she's trying to basically free his soul saved her, and that's why she's here. It's not too hard to figure out. It's there at the beginning, so it's not really a spoiler. Honestly,
okay.
If you like story-driven games and you can deal with the combat and have decent timing, you don't have to have great timing. You're not Bonsai. You'll probably really like this game.
So here's my problem already. Like the fact that I have to put up with the gameplay, and that's coming from you. When you say you have to put up with the gameplay, that always worries me, right? It just like I love stories, but just
the combat is very intuitive. Like I'm using mouse and keyboard on this one. And you literally just have to worry about control, space, WSAD, and the mouse buttons and looking around. Like it's not like a complicated control scheme by any means. It's really about timing. And it breaks up enough of the like walking simulator of it that it actually feels nice. Because if it was just a walking simulator, I'd probably get really bored with it, no matter how pretty and Norse it is.
I mean, it couldn't be worse than like Dear Esther.
I didn't even play that one.
It wasn't bad, but I didn't realize that it was basically a walking simulator until I got to the end and I went, wait, what? Really? That's it? And then I looked it up.
Fun.
I got it on a Humble Bundle, so I was like...
That's where I got this one, too, and I'm glad it came in one. Like, it's definitely worth... I think it's asking like $20 for it. It's totally worth 20. I don't know if it's really worth more than that. I haven't seen how long it is. I'm hoping it's not too long. It doesn't need to be. I'm okay with a shorter story game. But I definitely give it about 4 Helheims out of 5 Helheims.
Okay, fair enough. All right, I do have a random question for you guys. So when was the last time you guys went to the movie theater?
The other week when I went and saw Scary Stories.
Okay, how long ago was that?
Like a week ago.
So last weekend. Okay, what about you, Bonsai?
Not last week, and the week before that.
So 2 weeks ago.
Think the last thing I saw was Endgame. I could be wrong. It's the last thing I remember seeing.
Oh, so that was a couple months ago then.
Yeah, probably.
I think that's the same way for me. Like, I used to go almost every weekend to the movies because it was a thing to do. Are we just getting old and surly, or are they just not putting out good stuff?
I'm
It's a little bit of both, I think.
I'm buying new windows. It's really expensive.
That's funny. You don't need fucking windows, man. Just put up like tarps and shit.
Yeah.
I've seen
Put
the
some
Manhattan
cardboard.
houses. Yeah.
You don't need light. You have light bulbs for light.
Yeah, I don't do that.
Light bulbs? You don't use light bulbs?
At work, I don't. I don't use my. We don't turn on lights in my office.
Okay.
Well,
How do
not my
you-
whole office. My office.
Well, that's different, right? I
Is
remember
your office like windowless and like in the basement?
it's in a server
I
room,
wish
right?
It was, but yeah, I'm in the server room.
So
You got enough lights from the servers then.
I mean, screens are backlit. It's kind of the 21st century. Fucking everything creates some amount of light. It's a completely workable environment. I don't know how people still complain. In my my other office, the developers have all moved downstairs because they all hate fluorescent light, and they also that whole downstairs runs no lights on.
wow. I think it's hilarious because I remember when Bonza and I were working at the same company a couple years back. We ultimately moved into the IT closet, and we're like, "No, fuck that. Our desks are in here now." And people got really mad about that.
Yeah,
Like-
well, I used to sit in Gen Pop, and then they moved me into the server room. So
Yeah, but I wouldn't complain about that. I'm just saying. I remember when we moved ourselves,
yeah,
and people were super surly. They were just like, "What are they doing in there?" I was like, "Closing your IT tickets. Don't you get my pings?" Like, we're still working in here, but yeah, no, people were super jelly. They made us move out.
yeah.
Yeah, at my
Yes.
work, they always turn on the lights, and we have two sets of lights. We have the like lights in the building that are always on, kinda, and then there's like lights that go around our like workstations. And I don't fucking need them. I never turn them on. So when I'm back there, it's like kind of dark in those areas, but like there's still like screens up and shit that I'm working on. So it's like I don't have to worry about that.
They're backlit. It's the
and then
21st goddamn
And then my
century.
boss will come in and be like, "Turn the light," and I'm like, "Okay, I guess." It's like, it's like super bright back there, and I'm like, "I don't need this."
Yeah,
I was gonna be like, "Oh, we didn't know you were back there. Did you look?"
Yeah.
Because that's a good way of knowing if somebody's in a room. Is
That's the thing,
Okay.
though. There's still enough light around. You can clearly see me. You can
Well-
see anybody. You can read writing back there.
so you can't see me from the door. You have to go in my room to see me. I'm
Okay.
in and then down all the way at the end of the room. It's kind of great. Other than my back is to the door, it's pretty great.
yeah. No, people always come in my office and they're always turning lights on, and I sit by the window, but I always have the shades drawn all the way, and they're always like, "Dude, just pull the shades. We want some real sunlight in here." I'm like, "That's how the snipers get you," and then they kind of leave me alone. To be fair, it is generally a legitimate concern for me. I sit out next to the window and I go, I'm uncomfortable. There could be someone in that window and that roof, so I just keep the shades drawn. Also, I hate the sun, but you know,
Yeah.
M-
No,
many
I've known
reasons.
that too, and it's funny because like as a thing to like people that I'm with, I usually sit with my back to the window because
Hmm.
they don't know. But that's actually my way of being really polite because I like to sit where I can see everything.
and see if I do this. I do not to the window. That's really stupid. I sit with my back to the wall in restaurants, or I let people always sit first so they can sit on the inside. I refuse to be trapped. Like even at lunch, someone will be like, "Oh yeah, go sit." I'm like, "No, it's cool. I'd rather just like sit off to the side here and not be part of the main group. I'm just not going to get trapped
That's
back
what I
there."
normally do. But as a show of like care, I let other people do that.
Yeah,
They
no.
just never know it. They just never know that that's actually my secret way of like showing that I care about them.
We're gonna move my office to a new building, and it's not guaranteed yet, but it sounds like we're gonna be on the 21st floor of our new building. And I've already told my boss I'm not sitting near any window. I would like to be in a small room with no windows and very few lights. I don't like heights. I'm not at all into any. Everyone's like, I want to be by a window. I want to have a great view. I don't even want to be on that floor. Riding the elevator up every morning is going to be a nightmare. And then I just want to sit in a small dark room and be left alone.
See, I wouldn't want to place next to the window, but I actually like looking out the windows of skyscrapers and like looking out.
Nope.
See,
no, thank you.
I like nice views. I just don't want to sit next to them permanently. Like, I will go and check out the view, and then I will go back to my non-view stuff or spot.
No, I'm good. I don't need all that. That's a bad.
You know, the secret is we're all broken.
Yeah.
It's really what it comes down to.
We're not normal, okay people.
Normal, okay people don't torture themselves recording a show for years. I'm just saying. And on that note, check us out Tuesday nights.
I thought this was a group therapy session.
Live games. Oh, you didn't know it was recorded and live on YouTube?
Fuck!
Well, don't say anything. I've been charging him this whole time.
God damn it!
Oh, is that how you get all them BJs?
Hey, what we have worked out as payment is none of your business.
Well, there was that one ZJ, but we don't really talk about it.
You have to ask. You can't afford it.
All right, check us out Tuesdays, 7 to 9. We will be playing something tomorrow. I'm not even sure what we're doing tomorrow. It might be Bounce. It might be Killing Floor. We'll see. Check us out then. Mondays we do the podcast here live from 7 to 8. And final words, Pops.
Every other Thursday, Bias Bros is posted. iTunes, Podbean, and on our website, 5dpodcast.com. Bias Bros, a show.
That is also true. That is also true. Those are his final words. Klops, what are yours?
YouTube's.
He keeps laughing.
He's not gonna stop ever.
Because you keep laughing.
Because it's gonna be wonderful forever.
Bye.
Yeah.
YouTube's.